Bats, our furry flying friends. Although it's probably not hard to find someone in America who has heard of a bat, it can be tough to find people who actually appreciate and protect our furry flying friends. I mean, sure, Batman movies are awesome, and we do like to use bats throughout our Halloween decorations every year, but that's because they're widely considered to be scary, along with their misunderstood animal buddies such as snakes and spiders. We often give them glowing red eyes and sharp fangs, then create displays with large clouds of them swarming all around. Movies, such as Dracula, portray them as vampires, transformed into small, flying, bloodthirsty monsters. They are often used in swarms to set the tone for scary, long deserted locations and to startle audiences. With all of these things in mind, it's no surprise that many people are scared of bats. However, if we get to know them a little better, we can see that they are actually cute, helpful, and fascinating creatures who actually have a lot more in common with us than you'd think, including their skeletal structure, favorite foods, and fondness for snug, cozy places. So, what exactly is a bat? They may be great at flying, but they're not birds. They're mammals, just like us. And although it might not look like it from the outside, their skeletons are very similar to ours, but smaller. You can see here, with the size difference set aside, that their rib cages, spines, legs, and feet look very similar to ours, although they have longer toes. The most interesting comparison, though, is their wings. If you look closely, you'll see that the majority of their wings are essentially made of very long finger bones, while their arms are again very similar to ours, two long bones that meet at an elbow joint. If we take a look at a spread out example, it becomes more clear. They have four long fingers within their thin, skin-covered wings, and short thumbs protruding out from the top of their wings, which they use to help them hold their food. Which brings us to a big question. What do bats eat? Well, just like us, bats are omnivores, meaning they are known to eat meat and plant matter. However, bat diets vary between species, and with some bat species, they're actually named after their preferred food. Of course, most common misconception is that all bats drink blood, which is simply not true. There is a bat in South America, aptly named the vampire bat, which does drink blood. That being said, you don't have to worry too much about a vampire bat attacking you on your vacation to South America. Although they have been known to bite humans for blood, it is highly uncommon. Their typical prey usually consists of other large mammals, such as cows, pigs, or horses. They don't actually suck the blood, but instead make a small cut, then lap up the blood flowing out, so that it does not hurt the larger animal. Other bats considered to be carnivores will catch and eat animals smaller than themselves, such as frogs, fish, mice, and insects. Some bats, like the lesser long-nosed bat seen here, are specially adapted to drink nectar from the native plants in their ecosystem, which, combined with their furry bodies, makes them an excellent addition to the teams of pollinators responsible for helping our local plant species survive and disperse. Many bats enjoy fruit, just like the fruit bat seen here. Now, we've all heard the phrase, blind as a bat, but bats aren't actually blind. They just don't see very well, that's all. So, how do they catch fast-moving prey in the dark if they can't really see? The answer is echolocation. If you've ever played around with an echo in a large empty room or a large valley or canyon outside, you know that your own sound waves will travel back to you once they've bounced off of a surface. Bats use this echoing technique, also known as sonar, to locate their food through a series of high-pitched clicks. Thus we get the term echolocation. While this may not be the most graceful way to hunt, the way that bats use echolocation to pinpoint their quick-moving food is extremely effective. They flap wildly, generating rapid, high-pitched clicks from many different angles to determine where exactly their food is hovering at that moment. They continue to do this until they are right on it, then scoop the insect into their mouth using their feet, seen here. The best time to find bugs is at dusk, just after the sun has set, in a big open airspace over an area such as a field, pond, or parking lot. Now you may be wondering, then why don't I ever hear bats clicking above me at dusk? The sounds that bats emit in the process of echolocation are so high-pitched that they are not perceptible to the human ear. In order to find bats hunting, researchers use special bat-detecting devices that can pick up frequencies far beyond human hearing capabilities. So, besides being mammals with similar skeletons and omnivorous diets, there's one more thing we have in common with bats. We like to be snug and cozy, especially when we sleep. Probably the most common and accurate of all the bat stereotypes is that they like to live in caves, and that they are sometimes found in people's houses, usually in the attic. Bats enjoy dark, but what else do they look for in a habitat? They like to be snug. This is part of why they are often seen hanging in groups, so they can squeeze up against each other. For this reason, bat houses or bat boxes for residential areas or parks are designed a little differently than your typical birdhouse. They are fairly flat boxes, with thin layers the bats can enter into from below. Sometimes there's just one layer, sometimes there are several, creating a bat apartment complex of sorts. If you want to help house your local bat population, you can build one of your own to put in your yard. Otherwise, your wild bat neighbors will find tree cavities, caves, or attics to live in. This brings us to the question, what kind of bats might be in my house in Virginia? There are 16 species of bat in Virginia, but some are endangered, and some tend to be found in residential homes more than others. If you find a bat in your house, it is either an evening bat, seen here with his little ears and dark coloration, a little brown bat, seen here with his slightly larger ears and pale stomach, or a big brown bat, which, as you would guess, is larger than the little brown bat, but only by a couple inches. None of them is particularly large, with the largest one, the big brown bat, only standing on average at about 5 inches tall, with a wingspan of just a little over a foot. Other bats, which don't tend to be found in residential houses as much, but can be spotted all across Virginia, include the eastern red bat, named for his bright red fur. Yes, it's technically orange, but in animal science we call that red. Not to be confused with the eastern pipistrelle, or tricolored bat, named for his hairs which go from dark roots to yellowish-brown centers, then back to dark on the tips. His ears are also noticeably a little longer and pointier than the eastern red bat's short, round ears. Next, we have the silver-haired bat, named for his long, silver hairs. Not to be confused with the hoary bat, seen here. Hoary, spelled H-O-A-R-Y, is an adjective used to describe gray or white hair, which this little fellow has plenty of. Note how the roots of his fur are more reddish-brown, and how he looks a little puffier from his hair standing on end, rather than it being longer and smoothed down like the silver-haired bat. Finally, we have the northern myotis, or long-eared bat, who is named for, well, his nice long ears. There are several other species of bats that are common in more localized regions of Virginia. Unfortunately, there are also 3 Virginian bats on the federal endangered list and 1 on the state endangered list. The gray bat, named for his fur. Note that it is slightly dull rather than shiny, setting him apart from our silver-haired and hoary bats from earlier. The Indiana bat, and the Virginia big-eared bat, named for his clearly larger than average ears, are all federally endangered. The Raffinesque's big-eared bat is on the Virginia state endangered list, and again has large ears which earn him his name, but can be told apart from the Virginia big-eared bat by the way his ears come to a sharper point. Due to these endangered and protected populations, it is illegal to poison bats in Virginia, even if they are in your house, although it is considered an acceptable pest control solution for mice and rats. If you want to help your local bat population, build a bat box, or build a few, and donate them to your local park, if they're interested. Remember, they are still wild animals, so you won't want to try to snuggle with them yourself, but they will be happy to have a space where they can snuggle together, and you'll be helping house local pollinators and mosquito hunters, which is good for everyone. Well, except the mosquitoes. Hopefully, this has given you just a little sneak peek of the wonderful and often adorable world of bats. Share what you've learned whenever you get the chance. The more people know how bat skeletons, diets, and cozy tendencies are similar to ours, the better. And if we work together to educate each other, maybe society as a whole will become less afraid of bats, although we can still enjoy them as Batman and Halloween decorations.